We're back to looking at more freshman wide receivers from the 2023 recruiting class, and today we're going to be looking at Nathaniel Joseph, 4-star wide receiver who's going to the U, the Miami Hurricanes. We're going to look at the highlights and everything else. Before you do, you got to click that subscribe button and stop missing out on clips and highlights of your favorite prospects. We're also covering training camp clips as well, so we're covering your favorite rookies, favorite prospects, guys who are going to be on your fantasy team, on top of dropping fantasy football analysis on the daily. Lots going on here, and you gotta stop missing out. So click that button and start seeing what's going on with your favorite players. But let's dig in here. Let's look at Nathaniel Joseph. We like to look at his 24/7 Sports player profile first. If you're just here for highlights, the reaction to those. Fast forward a little bit, we'll get there. But we want to get the context on the player first from 24/7 Sports. Size-wise, they got him listed at 5'8", 170. This could be old. He could be a little bit bigger. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. You fans, let me know in the comments below if you've seen anything recent on him. However, looking at the rankings here, he's ranked wide receiver 24 in a composite, wide receiver 23 in the initial rankings, enrolled in January. But looking at the offers, that's what I like to look at. 35 offers, 3 visits, 1 coach visit. And the market looks like it was after him pretty heavy because we got Alabama in there, we got the U, we got Clemson, we got Louisville, we got big time collegiate programs. I guarantee you there was a lot more Power 5 schools in there looking for him. So we see this, and we see him being valued around wide receiver 25 in the class. So we see that there might be something on with his profile. We might like these highlights. He also was in the All-American Bowl. Projected to be the 4th to 7th round pick. Ray McLeod. Playmaking slot receiver. That's why he's ranked a little bit lower. But you know what? Teams need slot receivers. They need that. And we'll see on the film what he is. Can attack the flats and turn short little drive routes into long gains. Not much context available when it comes to top end speed. That means a million different things in my head. You're either trying to say you think he's slow, or you're trying to say you never seen him break one free to see how fast he is. It just doesn't make sense because you're either fast on tape or you're not. Why are you dancing around this? This is why we kind of got to argue with the 24/7 Sports player profile page and all these recruiting sites, because sometimes they're just trying to sugarcoat things. Maybe they didn't watch them. Has experience lineup in the backfield. That's good to see. That lets us know that he's a playmaker. He probably does have some speed if they're doing that. They're not going to put a slower wide receiver back there. So that's something to look at. That guy is speed rated at 7. So I don't know what they're trying to tell us with that. Toughness 6, yards after catch 10, route running 10. They graded him pretty well because when it comes to the skill section, we've covered a lot of wide receivers from this class. Not even half of them has this. Not even half of this. This doesn't even make sense. And now we have a track athlete. I do not understand what they were trying to talk about when they talk about his top end speed. So we'll have to get the context from the highlights, which is what we like to do here. Anyways, Connection is his cousin. All Conference USA second team kick returner. We got the U, we got Louisville. Again, we got a 4-star prospect here. A lot of programs looking at him. 5'8", 170. Probably got some speed. But let's look at the highlights here. See what we got. We got 13 minutes. We got a lot here. We got a lot to digest. But let's take a look. We're looking at Nathaniel Joseph here. See what he can do. Also seeing some speed here. We're seeing him on the outside work. More than fast enough from what I see here. More than fast enough already. It doesn't take that much to see. It doesn't take that much. You watch the players, you kind of get a good feel. See him pull away. You got to pull away from these players. You're pulling away. I get the context. I don't understand why they're trying to be so, like, frilly with the writing on these players. Just be blunt. Tell the truth. Maybe he could work on something to get better. Maybe that'd help him. Maybe read that and help him out. Just be blunt. And I like to be very positive with these players because you know what? I don't want to disrupt the kids' mentals when it comes to going into the college game or at the high school level or anything like that. So I do try and keep it positive. But on top of that, I'm not a paid recruiting service either. If any of these prospects want me to give them anything they want to improve on, they for sure ask me. I'd help. But again, this dude's got some speed. He's got some pop off the step. He looks very explosive. Hands coming in. And we're getting some yak. He looks compact. 5'8", 170, but he looks compact. And then I'm looking at his frame too. He's got some length on his arms. That's a good thing to see. We got a little bit of wingspan there. And it's not like you can't add to that, because it looks like you can. So that's a good thing too. I like seeing players that when you look at their frame at this young, you know they can add to it. And usually it is. That's usually the case. And usually these players get a little faster over time. They build up the technique. They get stronger. They get more explosive. That's just how it works. He's already got that speed. Unless they get bigger. Unless they get injuries. I guess that's not all the time, but usually. We're breaking off routes here. Did you see that? So we got some technique. Like the thing with the technique, we got a lot of wide receivers in this class that have good technique, and we got a lot of wide receivers right ahead of him that don't. And he's showing that. He's a jitterbug. He's very quick in a phone booth. You're already seeing that. Hard to see this play. I'm just guessing here, but imagine we saw good assertive hands there. I'm just guessing. Kind of a blur. It's all good. It's all good. Again, we're looking at highlights. We don't see lowlights, but again, at the high school level, when you got these 4-star, 5-star kids, you're not getting many lowlights because it's just a hot knife through butter. That's really what it is. There's a big disconnect. There's a big change of levels. In some parts of the country, it's not. I don't want to get it twisted, but some parts, it's just crazy. Here we go. Boom. Hitting it. We got speed. Here we go. Backfield. This guy's got some burst to him. I don't understand why you don't know the context of his speed. That's breaking my brain right now. You got to argue with these recruiting sites. This is why you need to go to highlights. And you got to watch a lot of these players. Get a good data set in your head of what high school football looks like at the top end when it comes to these highlights. Get a good idea of what it looks like to pull away, the ramp up, the acceleration, the top end speed. And you're going to have to look yourself. He's got some ball skills. And you got to be objective too. Sure, you can put him in the slot, but obviously they're moving him around. You can move him around at the college level. You got good route running. You're assertive after the catch. You got a lot of good things here. He's a playmaker. He can do some things. And you know what? Not all these wide receivers we're talking about are going to hit, but you know what? Look at the intangibles that are very positive. See how that's going to fit. Not all of them are going to be 6'2" guys that are going to get downfield and just be highlight plays. This guy wins differently. You're going to put him in the slot. You're going to put him on the outside a little bit too. You're going to move him around. He's going to beat you with nuance. He's going to beat you with speed. He's assertive. You already see it. That's what Alabama saw from the highlights. That's why they had to make him an offer, pay him a visit. That's what the other schools saw. I don't know what the recruiting services are thinking. You can already see it. When you start seeing those high-end schools looking at these players, you start seeing that, and you see the listing there, and you're like, Power 5 school, top-tier Power 5 school, top-tier Power 5 school, and they go they go to one of these programs, and then you read the description, and you look at the ranking. One, this is a very good wide receiver class, so things are going to get jumbled, but you look at the ranking, you have to really analyze it yourself and really look and dig into these players, and then just be Bayesian. Be very objective and Bayesian. I'm harping on 24/7 Sports because you should. They're not perfect. They should do a little better. They should be a little bit more blunt. They try to sugarcoat their words or something. They try to write in a Rubik's Cube or something. I don't understand that. He's good after the catch. 170. You got to think about this. He's 170 now. He's at high school level. That was prior. We've had months, weeks, maybe even a year or so since that was listed. Probably 180, 190 now. Probably about 200. All these players we look at, we're thinking, hey, he could add some thickness. That's just part of the wide receiver culture. It's part of the high school players in general. Because we've covered a lot of these guys. We can make that assumption. And also, we talk about that in a lot of these videos. And this is why I tell you guys, drop whatever information you heard about these prospects below because we want to hear about it. Because a lot of these guys, they got higher listed weights. Sometimes the listed weights are like astronomically increased to the point where like, yeah, let's scale that back. Maybe instead of 220, he's probably 210-ish. But again, you're looking at these and you just got to be very objective. You got to be very objective. Like, we already know the hit rate, so might as well just be positive on these players. Because there's a lot of good things to his game. He's doing a good job. He got some ball skills downfield, assertive. We showed a little bit of nuance in the route running. Look at him with the stiff arm there. You got a pop in the step. And you need slot receivers. You need slot pluses. You need slot pluses. You need a guy that you can move around because it's a spread out game. It's a spread out game. You need to be able to create separation with routes. You need to be able to get yards after the catch. He does that. He does that. You can take carries out of the backfield a little bit. You can move him around, put him in motion, put him on the outside, inside. I wouldn't consider him just a slot. Like, I would consider him like a weapon, an asset that you put a lot in the slot, but you're also going to put him in other places. That makes sense. That makes sense. You really got to be very Bayesian with these players. He's moving around pretty good. He's moving around real good. I like it. This is a bigger highlight tape because you can see, like, there's a difference between, like, a 5-star top 10 guy versus a guy who's really good. He's really good. There's a difference. There's a difference. But he's good. Like, you shouldn't sleep on this dude. You can't sleep on this dude. Because he's got that speed. He's assertive. Assertiveness is huge at the wide receiver position. That might be the best trait. That my ball mentality, that mentality, like, I'm getting out of this break. I'm creating this separation. This separation's made, and I haven't even started my route yet. I already have this. I have you beat. Like, that mentality is more than anything. You got to have, like, the baselines, the athleticism and stuff. Baseline of the traits, baseline of the nuances. But that mentality is huge. It's huge. We see it at the NFL level. We see it with George Pickens, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel. Those are all assertive players. You take the assertiveness away from those players, they're not competing at the NFL level. You make them softer in their mentals, they're not doing it. That's the key trait there that allows their amazing traits to really pop off because they just take what they want. Watch him. See? He got that dog in him. He's got dog in him. He's looking good. He is looking good. Very good wide receiver prospect. Do not sleep on this dude. We're watching all the highlights. Moving around. Eating space. They gave him a little cushion. He ate that right there. That's a good sign. And they had him basketed up. And they had the angles covered. When the slot, we're off ball. Moving around. Here we go. Huge weapon for the team. The thing about him, you can tell there's a difference between a top tier 5-star and a guy like him, but a guy like him, he's very good. He's very good. He should be ranked a little higher. I think in a lot of other classes, especially years prior, probably would be. Thing is, these recruiting services got a little wonky after COVID, and the rankings, you really gotta pick your poison of where you're at in the rankings. You really gotta look at all the players now. You gotta look at all the players now because they sleep on guys big time. This guy's got some skills. He's got some skills. Getting yards after catch, good footwork, good bounce. Look at that. That's huge. Miami's getting some wide receivers too. They're sneaking them. They're sneaking some wide receivers that are fun to watch. And they're sneaking them in the rankings. You're looking at them. They're all good. Maybe a couple of them develop and you're getting something. But Miami is really sneaking some playmakers here. And that might be something. That might be something. That's something you got to pay attention to. That is something you really got to pay attention to. This guy, you can just put him everywhere. Slot. Blocking and turns him. Turns him away from the play. Finishes it too. People want to look at the finish, but that turn away from the play. Very explosive play. I like that. I like this guy. I like him. I don't know if I need to see more, but I want to see more, so we're going to keep this watching. We're going to keep it rolling. I like players who are aggressive and assertive, and that's one thing he is. Like, if he's going to win or lose, it's going to be him going full go. And you can tell that. You saw him break some tackles, keep balance. He's got a little bulldog in him. That's just good. Good balance here. He's looking solid. Coming out of the slot. We're catching the ball. Bam. We're getting explosive up here. Fun guy to watch. I think they got him on the outside here, getting screened. There you go. There you go. Like, you can put this guy in the slot. I mean, you can label him as a slot receiver due to his listed size. I look at him more like a little bit of a weapon because you're going to move him around a bit, as good slots should be. Good slots should be. A slot receiver, the slot receiver, like being just the slot receiver, shouldn't be really a thing too much longer. Like, you need to be able to do more to really make that money at the NFL level. Because why not? Why not? Why not be able to go on the outside a little bit? Why not be able to be moved around? Why not be a chess piece and still do slot receiver things like create separation when you got DBs off ball and all that stuff? Why not? Because that just gives you more versatility, and we got a lot more good wide receiver prospects coming down the pipeline year after year after year. Like, it is getting good because these guys are taught up. They're very good when it comes to their route running. Very bursty. Good nuances. Very fun to watch. But that's Nathaniel Joseph. We're going to watch this last play. Here we go. Bam. I think that's the block. Here we go. But that's Nathaniel Joseph, ladies and gentlemen. I like this prospect. I think he's fun to watch. I think 24/7 Sports is sleeping on him a little bit. I think he's explosive. I think if he develops, he can really turn into something for the Miami Hurricanes. I really think they're putting together a good wide receiver core here from what we saw here from this recruiting class. Fun player to watch. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Hit that subscribe button. Stop missing out. And I'll catch you on the next video.